Sorry, Chair. To Ms. Lalonde, although you weren't sworn or affirmed to tell the truth, any witness that appears at a parliamentary committee is expected to tell the truth. First question to you is, prior to your attendance today, did you read your audit?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Chair. Yes, of course, I read my audit.
You just responded to a question put to you by my colleague, Ms. Block, that no cases of contracting splitting, which allows consultants to abuse taxpayer money. You said there were no instances. Your report states, this is paragraph 2.1 under the heading of contract splitting. Through the review of both the statistical random and risk-based sample, the audit team assessed whether there were instances of contract splitting.
Okay,
In the statistical random sample,
pour Monsieur Brock.
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Dans un contexte où
In the context where we're talking about the importance of the health of our interpreters, we're saying that the sound is not, the quality of the sound is not good.
Thank you. One moment. Mr. Brock, our interpreters are saying that your sound quality is bad. I hate to do this. Are you okay if we switch, pop over to Mr. Genuis and we'll have IT contact you?
yes.
Okay. Mr. Genuis, are you able to, we'll just start at 5 minutes if you're able to. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I am, Chair. And so I'll pick up where Mr. Brock left off, which is that the report indicates that there were 3 instances of contract splitting. I wonder if our auditor can just confirm that there are, in fact, instances of contract splitting that were identified and give us some context for her previous response.
Yes, thank you for the question, Mr. Chair. Yes, of course, I was under the impression that her question had to do with the statistical sample, if there were any incidents of contract splitting, and the answer is no to that question. Of course, my report details 3 instances where we did find potential contract splitting, and that was related to another type of sampling that we did, which was risk-based. And therefore, we were actually looking for some contract splitting. After validation, verification, we did find 3 instances.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I would suggest in the future you try to be more precise, because I think that lends itself to some significant confusion. Just on the issue of contract splitting further, there's been an effort to portray this as kind of an instance of, we forgot to cross the T's and dot the I's. But contract splitting involves intention. It involves somebody knowing what the rules are, that a competitive process is required over a certain threshold, and then intentionally trying to divide the contract up in a way that is not consistent with policies in order to get around policies and avoid needing to do a competitive process. This is explicitly a kind of corruption, an effort to circumvent the rules in order to avoid a competitive process and benefit somebody. So I think that needs to be noted in the context of some of the sort of downplaying of these problems that is going on. Do you have any information about the motivation behind the contract splitting, and in the instances of contract splitting, who specifically benefited from it?
Thank you very much for the question. Just in terms of the 3 instances where contract splitting was mentioned in the audit, just to say that those were 3 relatively low dollar value, 6 relatively low dollar.
That's not the point. Who benefited?
Who benefited? Maybe first I could just address the...
No. Could you answer the question, please?
Who benefited?
Point of order, Point of order, Mr. Chair. If again, my colleague can just allow the witness to answer the question, that would help, I think, all of us here get the information we need.
Yeah, just on the same point of order, Mr. Carruthers spent 4 minutes not answering the same question in the last round, so I'm going to be more direct this time in my expectation that direct questions receive direct answers. And Mr. Kuzmierczuk knows that it's my time to do so.
Thank you. Mr. Kuzmierczuk, it is the member's time. Go ahead, Mr. Genuis.
Ms. Carruthers, who benefited from this corrupt contract splitting? Who were the consultants that benefited?
I'm actually going to turn this over to my colleague, Dan Pilon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the 3 instances of contract splitting were from the same unit, from the same manager. So it was a very isolated incident in that it was not widespread throughout the department. It is one specific manager of our administrative distribution center. That manager is no longer in the position. That being said, we have, when we found out about this, we addressed the issue. We addressed it with the person's supervisor. We went in with mandatory training and reassessed or readdressed the situation.
So this person you're telling us was involved with multiple cases of corrupt contract splitting. You said they're no longer in the position. I hear that as saying they still work for the government. Does that person still work for the government of Canada?
I do not know personally if this person, I think they are still within the department, although I don't know specifically their tenure.
So they were moved to a different, you don't know for sure, but you say they were likely moved to a different position within the department. I would like you to provide to the committee the name of that individual and the current position that they hold. If you have that information, you can provide it now. If you don't, you can follow up in writing. Are you prepared to do that?
So I will not provide it now. I don't have that information, but if you require it, we will provide it. Yes.
Yeah, we'll require that in writing according to the timelines that we usually require. Who are the consultants that benefited from these instances of contract splitting? Who got the deals? Who got the money?
I will answer if you don't mind. So, Mr. Speaker, this was one company which was used for, temporary help services, where they provide services of help of staff and so forth. So there was 3 instances.
What's the name of the company?
I will get that to you in 30 seconds. I think it is. Put my glasses on. Yes, it is Excel HR, Excel Human Resources.
Excel HR. Okay. I assume if I request it, we'll have agreement of the committee to bring Excel HR to provide testimony.
Agreed.
Okay. Thank you. Has Melanie Jolie been briefed on this audit?
Thank you very much for the question. I don't know if she was specifically briefed, but I do know that her office has been briefed of the results of this audit.
Okay, who would have briefed her?
Sorry, I have to interrupt. We are past our time.